Thank you, Richard. I am just so happy to be here to represent our family in recalling some fun times of the life and times with my very good friend of 45 years, the birthday boy here, Richard. 70 years, really? You are in such terrific shape. I am not older than you. But, did you hear that, Mary? I don't believe that. But, you know, Bruce would be 72, and I would be, well, never mind. Anyway, 70. Bruce would be very proud of you, staying in good shape and continuing to do the work that you do in the world. So, anyway, we first met Richard when he came to our house when we lived in Culver City in about probably 66 or 67. He came over with Mito Uehara, who used to own and publish Black Belt magazine. And Richard recalls that I fed him a lunch of ramen noodles. Now, ramen noodles were very popular in our house because they were cheap and filling. So we had a lot of ramen noodles in our house. And I remember Richard looking around at Bruce's vast collection of books at that time. And Bruce gave him a copy of the book that he had written called The Art of, wait, I always get this wrong. The Philosophical Art of Chinese Kung Fu. Or, no, I said that wrong. Anyway, you know, that first little book, the only book, actually, that Bruce actually wrote. And Bruce told Richard, he said, "This is the very last copy that I have, and I am giving it to you." And Richard felt very honored, very honored. Well, years later, I inadvertently told Richard, "Oh, Bruce had a whole box of those books." And he told everybody he gave one to that this is the very last copy of this book. So after he got over his little disappointment, Richard said, that was kind of clever. So Richard had some of Bruce's business cards. And I'm afraid I might burst some bubbles here, but sometimes he would present Bruce's business card to a worthy student or friend, and he would say, "This is the very last business card." So Richard joined the gym that Bruce had down in Chinatown in '67. Did I say? Yeah, Richard joined the gym in '67. And, but Richard couldn't train for very long because he told Bruce, he said, "I can't afford to come and train anymore because I'm a young husband and I have 4 young, beautiful children and I can't afford it." But Bruce, sensing that there was potential here in Richard, said, "I want you to keep training." So they worked out a barter system where Richard would clean the gym on the weekends in exchange for working out with Bruce. And that worked out for both of you. And at the start of something good, wasn't it? It's here we are today, right? And here you all are. Let's see. After the gym closed, then Richard would come to our house and he would train and work out with Bruce there. Then, of course, we're talking late 60s now, and then 1971, Bruce and I and our family moved to Hong Kong, and Bruce made the films that you all know about, and then in 1973, Bruce passed away. In the years after that, Richard continued to study and to train and to teach Bruce's art of Jeet Kune Do. And he, out of just respect for Bruce as his seafood and out of wanting to maintain the art of Jeet Kune Do, Richard hosted memorial dinners in Bruce's honor in order to keep the original students of Bruce together, to keep that circle of students intact, and to keep the art of Jeet Kune Do alive. And we're very grateful for that beginning, but that was only the beginning because he's done that over all of these many, many years. Richard was the only successful person to apply for a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for Bruce. And in addition to that, he has given demonstrations of Jeet Kune Do in Hollywood and for Universal Pictures for the release of Enter the Dragon and numerous other things that he's done out of respect for his Sifu and his art. My son Brandon was only 8 years old when Bruce passed away, and he had a little bit of training with Bruce, but my daughter Shannon, who wished she could be here tonight, was only 4 years old. But in the years after Bruce passed away, both Brandon and Shannon and myself called Richard Sifu because we took lessons from him too. So we thank you for continuing that legacy in our family. So now it has been 39 years since Bruce passed away, and Richard has consistently endeavored to keep the art of Jeet Kune Do alive and pure. And even though he is gifted and proficient in several other arts, he has always maintained a class in Jeet Kune Do the way that Bruce taught and practiced it so that it can be passed on to future generations. And our family is very appreciative of that, Richard. So another thing Richard did was to start an organization called the Jeet Kune Do Society in the 80s with the same goal of preserving the purity of Jeet Kune Do. Then in 1996, the Junfan Jeet Kune Do nucleus was formed, which brought together again the former students of Bruce with the goal of preserving the art that Bruce had loved and taught and practiced. And the nucleus has now morphed into the Bruce Lee Foundation with the very same goal. And throughout all of these years, Richard has supported the organizations. He has participated in seminars for the benefit of the foundation and spread the word of Bruce's art to all of you and to people all over the world. And we're all appreciative of that. I'm really glad that you, Richard, had the opportunity to share those moments of understanding with Bruce in his lifetime. And in return, Richard has accepted the lifetime responsibility of passing on the truth, the beauty, and the purity of Jeet Kune Do. So, what greater reward is there, really, than for a life that is well lived, than to be honored here tonight by your family, your friends, and your students for the sharing you have done of your love and wisdom over all these years. And in the end, what is there if it is not what we have, but what we have given that equals 70 years of a good life. So happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you, Linda.